self-serving, persuasive talkers
of everything and nothing.
We are Conversation Con Artists. What's going on, people? It's your boy, Mr. On Point.
And I am somebody that does not understand people getting other folks' names tattooed on them.
Okay.
Also known as Calamity Ray.
Alrighty then. Well, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Mr. Mister_on point.
And I can be found at Red_Calamity. Also, we are still doing the listener letter portion of the show. So if you have a question you would like for us to answer on the show, you can send it into our Gmail account, which is conversationconartists@gmail.com, or you can find us on Facebook and send it to us that way. But first, we gonna hit y'all with some of this poetry.
We should call this like a segment or something.
I don't know what would we call it though.
I don't know.
Snaps.
Snaps.
We're gonna hit you with these snaps.
I don't like that.
No snaps?
Mm-mm.
I don't know.
Poetry something.
Y'all send us some names. What do y'all think the poetry segment should be called, entitled? I don't know. I have no idea.
I don't know. We can call it something though at some point.
Did you go first last week or did I?
I went first last week.
Nigga. Just asking. I guess that means I go first this week.
That's what it means.
Okay. Well, I'm going to do one of my most metaphoric poems ever.
Oh, Jesus.
It's
I'm
a
finna
big
get
ass.
lost.
Huh?
I'm finna get lost.
I hope it's easy to follow, but it's a big ass just metaphor. And it's called a tree.
Okay.
All right. See, she told me her man is a rock in her world, and no matter how many times he is pushed, pulled, and tugged by other girls, he's staying solid and sound. But it turned out that he was more like a pebble, a stone, because when times got hard, she ended up alone, and he was nowhere to be found. And he told me his girl is a beautiful flower, and that she is so in love that he had the power to make her blossoms bloom like no other man. But it turned out other bees were tasting her nectar too, and so he ended up feeling like a fool because he was doing what every other man can, could, and did. For you see, a rolling stone gathers no moss, and every rose is going to have its thorns, and I am at a loss for why one would want either of those things. Because see, you are my tree, and I know that there is no need to worry, for the intricacies of your roots will sustain me. You see, I am not afraid to walk out on your limbs, because I know that if I fall, I can count on you, for you are only one call away, and at the bottom, your leaves of love will catch me and make my landing soft. You see, your roots run deep and unmovable you are, and even 20 years from now, I know you won't be far from my side. People try to tear you down with their axes of negativity, but you have sustained years of bad weather and have acquired longevity, and they are wasting their time. And the climate of our love does sometimes change, but your bark is tough and you can endure the cold rain because you know soon the sun will shine. When I feel suffocated by life and begin to slow my pace, your photosynthesis produces the air I need to continue the race, and I know you will always be there for me. So you see, I don't need you to be my rock, nor am I your flower, but you are my tree and I your river, and together we have the power to endure whatever comes our way. A tree that's planted by the water shall not be moved, and neither will we.
I remember that.
Yes.
I remember reading that when you posted that.
Yes.
Tons of
just a big ass metaphor.
Yeah, it's a big metaphor, not a whole bunch of little metaphors.
Yeah,
that's how I get lost in poetry. When it be a lot of different metaphors. That's why I try to make, like, my poetry is less very straightforward.
Yes.
You know, it's straightforward as I can be. I try not to make it my own personal references based off of the knowledge I have. I kind of try to write them to be,
because then other people won't understand it.
Yeah, but you know, some people hinge upon their own knowledge to connect the stuff, and I'm not well read enough, and I know that I'm not, because I don't like to read, because mainly I have narcolepsy, and I fall asleep every time I read. Like, I read a lot of articles, and I read a lot of data, and a lot of research, and a lot of mental health stuff, but it's to enhance the skills of my profession. I use these things every day, but like, I'm not well read enough to be able to pick up on a lot of the subtleties of a lot of things that's going on with a lot of poetry. So I like that.
A tree being unmovable when it's by the water, I feel like it's something that most people, if they have gospel songs, like a tree, I'm not gonna sing, but they have gospel songs. I Shall Not Be Moved is one of the songs that references a tree being planted by the water. So yeah.
I need to stop telling myself that I'm gonna do things knowing I'm gonna forget, because I did not take out the part of the podcast last week where I was messing up. I mean, everybody who's listening now know by now. I don't remember even we had any dialogue. I think I told you I was gonna take it out.
You did, and I reminded you.
Yeah. So that's weird. Just realizing right now that y'all heard me mess up, and I don't even know what I said after that.
I don't know, but I reminded you about taking it out.
You did.
I did. I was trying to help. That is hilarious.
So, but anyway, this is one of my. It don't rhyme as much as I normally write, but it's like really symbolic and whatnot. It's called "I'm Going to Hang Her on My Heart." Forever stained by the colors of past lovers, she fails to realize that she is a work of art. She looks in the mirror and swears she only sees splatters of paint, but I can see the emotionally driven strokes derived from her soul. I can see the sad blues that humble her soul and give her search purpose, down to the resilient reds that helped her see the danger of her anger. And I can see the cautious yellows that hold her back from embarking on her hatred. My eyes can see the envious greens that have showed her how she is selective in who she trusts her soul to. Even the refined sophistication of violet that sparks her desire to find love. On a canvas that was surely the purest white once upon a time, but white canvases never reached the status of priceless, only those that have been painted, in her case tainted. So her stains are actually immaculately So her stains are actually immaculate expressions of her inner desires. For her past lovers are not the ones who placed the paint upon the canvas. They were there to inspire and to simply provide the tools. Then they provided the colors. And with every love lost, she took those emotional hues and expressed the pain all over her soul, eventually creating a passionate masterpiece. And as men have searched far and wide for this piece, I believe I've discovered it. Only others have kept it locked away in basements and stashed up in the attics, only making it worth more for the man who decides to hang her on his heart.
Snap, 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 snap.
Snap, 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 snap.
I'll have to do my color piece next week. I had one.
For colored people?
Well, it's not for colored people, but there are colors within the piece for colored people. Well, all of mine are for colored people. So I guess
not like the movie though.
That's right. Hell no. Oh, I hate that. I don't even want to. Let me not get on my soapbox about that stupid ass movie. Okay, so I have a couple of questions. Or did you want to do?
Let me do Colin's letter first.
Okay.
What's up, Colin? Man, I appreciate you for sending us this article.
This long.
It's long, but it's good.
Article.
Ta-Nehisi Coates is he write for the new Black Panther. So like his contribution to the culture right now is very potent, so this is his piece about Kanye. It's called I'm Not Black, I'm Kanye. And I guess that's the play on the O.J. Simpson.
I'm not black, I'm O.J.
Yeah, I don't think he actually said that. I think they said it in, I think Cuba Gooding Jr.'s character said it in there, but I think it captured the essence of how O.J. Simpson actually behaved in the context of a white America that loved him versus a blackness that I don't think he valued when he was enshrouded in that world. But the article, so let me say what he said. Please read and comment, not just about Kanye, but about the greater idea of this article. P.S. Even the artwork is fire and has depth and meaning. Look up I'm Not Black, I'm Kanye by Ta-Nehisi Coates. The artwork is fire. And P.P.S. Red, quit playing. You know that man only owns one shirt. Oh my God.
He does not. You know what? So now what I'm going to do is every time I go out with him, I'm going to have to take pictures, which won't be often because he works out of town. So he's hardly ever here. But I'm going to see him this week. I'm going to take pictures. I'm not posting them on our Facebook page, but I am going to post them in our group. And y'all are going to have to acknowledge that this nigga has other shirts other than that gray shirt.
Next time you spend a span of days with him.
That's this week.
He better not have that shirt on now one of them days.
He does it.
And at this point, you got to send us them pictures from every day.
I know. I'm going to see him Wednesday and Friday this week. I'm going to take a picture both days. Okay. And hopefully he won't have that fucking shirt on. It's not a bad shirt. It's just he doesn't wear it all the time, like y'all have insinuated. He has other shirts.
So when you read articles, what compels you to continue reading the article?
The first few lines. You have to capture me in the first few lines, especially if it's a longer article. If you don't catch me in the first few lines, I'm out. I'm not going to read it. Or I'm going to skim it and miss a lot of shit that you wanted me to capture. So you have to capture my attention. Because you're going to have a clever title and then I start reading it and I'm just not interested. So you're going to have to capture my... And that article did. The first few sentences did a good job of that.
So this is how I measure whether I'm going to read an article or how much effort I'm going to put into completing an article. Mm-hmm. The title first.
Yes.
If your title is ass, I'm not going to get to what may be an amazing article, right? The title can be moderately good. When it's moderately good, it hinges upon that first paragraph for me. Mm-hmm. The first paragraph, if you can get me in it and introduce some things that you're going to educate me about, inform me about, then I read it.
Yes.
One thing that supersedes both of those, though, is a writer that I'm familiar with and that I like. Like a writer that I know I've read good stuff from, I can, title might be horrible, but I'm expecting to get something from the article.
Yeah.
And Ta-Nehisi Coates, he's just one of those people that wins the competition of his name means more to me now than the article. Mm-hmm. But I also like the artwork, but I also like the name of it. I'm not black, I'm Kanye. Mm-hmm. But he also does encapsulate you in the very beginning. So he got all the recipe for me to read his articles all the way through. But more than that, within his writing, which is how I can see how potent his writing is in the Black Panther series, he really tells a story. Like, he creates a context about what he's trying to say. Mm-hmm. He goes into his own. So this article is basically about, it starts off talking about his love and our love in the black community for Michael Jackson. Yes. But we do have to recognize that Michael Jackson was seeking to erase his blackness. Yes. Now, I don't know if that was, everybody talk about the vitiligo, but I don't really know if that's in a search for whiteness, or in a rejection of blackness. What do you think? Like, do you think there's a difference, or do you think it matters which is which? Like, can you be okay with blackness in general, even though you're seeking to be white? No. Or does seeking to be white have to be a rejection of blackness?
I think
is it a difference between your own blackness and group blackness? Like, can you have that struggle of trying to run away from your own blackness and still accept black as a culture in a group context?
No, because you asked a couple of different questions. Okay, so as far as being able to accept blackness but pursue whiteness, I feel like there's such a dichotomy between those two things that I don't know that you can do that. If I'm chasing after whiteness, in doing so, I'm not going to be able to be accepted, because being accepting of your blackness, you wouldn't be in pursuit of this thing that has been the cause of an oppression of the very thing that you are. So I just don't think that you can do that. As far as your blackness is separated from the group blackness, the world doesn't. I mean, you can try to do that, but just know in doing that the world is, you're still going to be, the group blackness is what you will be perceived as. Part of being black in America, the fucked up thing is that we are looked at as a group. We're not looked at individually. White people get the advantage of they want to be looked at and are looked at on an individual basis. They can have bad white people, they can have good white people, they can have okay white people. Black people, we just all get lumped into the same category. So, I mean, you can try to separate yourself from the group, but know that the people around you are not. You're still going to be tied in with the rest of us. So, perceptually.
So you're saying it don't matter if you're seeking to be accepted by the other group, you're not going to be accepted by that group?
Probably not, no. Unless if they accept the group as a whole. If you're looking for acceptance for you individually, separate from the group, I think you're going to be disappointed, because we're just not looked at that way. Because what's going to happen is they're going to treat you marginally better because you're the exception to the rule of black is bad. But it's still not, you're not going to be their equal. You might be treated marginally better, but you will never be their equal.
I don't know. Michael Jackson never really did or said anything that indicated to me that he rejected blackness.
Yeah, no.
Like,
with
so
him, I feel like
that's what I'm saying. But he is the core and the epitome of what everybody after him has become in terms of trying to leave blackness.
But I feel like Michael Jackson, all the trauma that he sustained, and I'm sure trauma that we don't even know about, I just feel like that might, I don't know that you can look at that in such a black and white kind of situation where there was a lot more that went into that, his issues, like where he was mentally, that drove him to lighten his skin the way that he did. I don't even know that it was, I mean, for him, blackness just might not have... Blackness for him was growing up in a household. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like there's a lot more that went into his escape as opposed to him just wanting to just not be black. I don't think that he was accepted. He was accepted by black people, but his black family, specifically his dad, it was never good enough. He was never good enough. None of them were ever good enough. And so I feel like there's just aspects to his situation that don't speak to other situations like Kanye's. It's just different. I don't look at them in the same context because Michael Jackson had all of them. I mean, him and all his siblings had fucking issues based on, this childhood that they had, or lack thereof rather, because they didn't really get a childhood. So I always tie his issues back to the abuse and the difficulty they had growing up. I didn't look at it as him just not wanting to be black.
I got you.
Black wasn't good enough. I mean, in his family, he wasn't accepted, his black family. And he was being accepted by all of these other groups. And I think he was seeking acceptance for a completely different reason. I don't know that he was trying to escape blackness as much as he was just trying to find a place where he was accepted wholly and completely.
So the essence of, or the connection with Michael is that, he referred to Michael Jackson as a god in his time.
Yeah, bitches was falling. I never understood that, but yeah.
But the thing is, he was a god for a long time before these issues appeared in his career. Mm-hmm. He was some albums in, and people, the glove, the moonwalk. Yep. He mentioned stepping on stones and they turn into light. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's the connection that he made to Kanye. Like, Kanye has been a god in his own right. He's been doing this for 20 years. And it kind of seemed like George Bush don't care about black people. Mm-hmm. It seemed like that was his moment. It seemed like at this point, it seemed like more of a moment to draw attention to him, not necessarily a moment to...
I think that's what his whole... Like, I think that is his motivation for most things, is to draw attention to himself. Kanye very much has, symptoms of narcissistic personality disorder, and he draws attention to himself. During that point in time, that was the greatest way to draw attention to himself because of what was going on in the world. And in this point in time, the greatest way to draw attention to himself, because even if he came out in support of Black Lives Matter, Beyonce has done that. Jay-Z, there are artists that have come out in support. Beyonce, Lemonade was full of black imagery and all of this stuff. So for Kanye to step above that and to do what he does as far as being noticed, he had to go in the other direction. He had to be pro-Trump as opposed to being pro-black, because pro-black is kind of in now. You know what I'm saying? Like, people are being woke is kind of in, and so he would have blended in with the rest of these celebrities.
I don't like when you say it's in.
Well,
you know what I'm saying? Like, as if it's just popular for now. I don't think we can go back. I don't think nobody intends to go back from where we at with blackness. I
don't think the group of us does. I think some of the people are doing it for the wrong reasons. That's what I mean by it's in. Because I feel like if they were to levy a bunch of most people are not going to do what Colin Kaepernick did. most people are not going to stand beside it regardless of what that means for them. Right now, you can do it in some of these areas and not be impacted by it, so people are doing it. But I feel like if everybody had to make the choice that Colin Kaepernick had to make, I think a lot of these celebrities would have chosen their career as opposed to standing up for what they believe in. I just don't believe that everybody feels the same way about it. He believed in it so much that he put his career on the fucking line to do it. I don't think a lot of these people who are doing it now are in it.
I don't think not doing that means that what role you are playing in it, like, is not genuine. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I won't say that it's not genuine, but like I said, I feel like it's easier to do it for some of these people without consequence. But I feel like if it wasn't as easy to do that and still be able to sell your albums or do what you do, that some people wouldn't.
Because like I know my role. You know what I'm saying? I'm a role player in the game of this situation, and I know that I'm not. Regardless of how people feel about me hearing this, I'm not going into the streets to march. That's not my thing.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm doing. I'm not going to jeopardize my job. I feel like I am somewhat an interpreter. You know, so my version of activism, and like I said, whether people agree with it or not, is one that will challenge people's thoughts, that will challenge white people about things, challenge other brown people that need to be challenged, that will have an interpretive view that might help it make sense to somebody. Like, that's my role.
Yeah.
I think everybody got a role to play. Now, I do think there are people who just doing this shit because it's popular and because you can easily find some people to do it, you know, but shit, I
don't think everybody
deleted
like
my
that.
inflammatory YouTube videos once I started my counseling business.
Oh, yeah.
Because I can't even make a video like that in the community I work in, because if somebody see an inflammatory video, it's gonna mess me all up down here in Deep South Alabama.
Oh, yeah.
And I work with a bunch of lawyers and judges and, you know, different people who look at me and smile.
Yeah.
Now they can easily look at me and frown or be disgusted.
Yep.
Based on something that I do like that, you know.
I said that to say that Kanye likes to get, even though George Bush don't like black people, Kanye got attention on a national scale from that, right? CNN, he was all over the place. The exact same way that he has gotten attention on a national scale now with the slavery was a choice and like his newfound love for Trump. He's on CNN. New York Post, like New York Times, like all of these places, he's getting seen on the national scale again, the same way he did when he said George Bush don't like black people. So attention seeking is what he's very good at, and doing it in the biggest way possible is what he's good at.
Yeah,
you know, because he's making the rounds on all of these. Fox News said some shit about, you know what I'm saying? Like he's making the rounds in doing what he's
Sarah
doing.
Palin just gave him a shout out about that.
So, and that wouldn't have happened had he came out with like Black Lives Matter or some pro-black stuff. He would have gotten attention. It wouldn't have been the attention. It wouldn't have been the level of what he's getting now. And I think he is. Everybody want to call him a genius. I feel like he's a genius at definitely getting the amount of attention, the most attention he could possibly get out of a situation. He gonna milk that shit. And so what that called for in this particular occasion was, you know, shouting out Trump and doing all of this shit Trump related when he was saying that George Bush didn't like black people. I think that it's the attention that he gets.
Well, I'm gonna point out one more thing in the article before I talk about what I took out of it. Colin, if you got like a specific question about it or like your take on it, then, you know, I'd like to hear that, or any questions, you know, that you want specific. But he talked about how when he began writing himself and started writing a book and started publishing and started being noticed and started being a little bit more famous, he just don't feel like that is a life that a human is meant to endure. And so for what it's worth, it's really good to go to a restaurant and clear it out and be able to get a seat immediately. But the socially isolated component of it, I think, helps him kind of understand how somebody like Kanye can be so disconnected from it. But the essence that I took from it, and something that he mentioned that makes a lot of sense is that when you're on a path of destruction of yourself, that's fine. But when you don't recognize that the destruction can be as with Kanye, is going to be, what word am I trying to use?
Ripple effect.
It's going to be transferred to the community, to the children, to the culture. That's the problem. That was the problem with Michael Jackson. When Michael Jackson shift changed, it changed a whole bunch of kids that grew up in that time frame. And just like right now, what Kanye is saying is changing a lot of people's perspective on some shit that should not really be tampered with. Because we pretty much had an all-encompassing understanding of how shit's been. And now you got so many people looking at Kanye and defending him because they value his heart and the effort that he's put into what he is, but motherfucker, all kingdoms fall.
Yep.
I just wonder what I wonder what his new album is gonna be like.
I'm not, after the scoopity poopity doobity dop, I'm just not. I haven't been, I ain't been listening to Kanye since them first 3 albums, and that's not going to change now. This media storm did not make me any more inclined to listen to that album than I was before he even did all of this shit, because I jumped ship from Kanye a long time ago. I'm
probably going to listen to all of these albums he fooling with. Nas, Pusha T, his album. I don't really care about no Kid Cudi, though. So I don't really know nothing about him. I think that's the person he got another album, a dual album with.
I think so, yeah.
But
yeah.
So,
and that ain't even directly because it is, again, I was done with Kanye a long time ago, so this didn't change my perception. If anything, it just made me be like, okay, so yeah, don't really give a fuck about his music anymore. That was the right decision that I made.
Blackness is on trial like a motherfucker right now between black people. And we'll talk about that more when we get to Childish Gambino. But let's go to the questions you got.
So, would you stay with? Well, it says, would you stay with a man that had a baby with someone else, but a woman that got pregnant and it wasn't your baby?
Did she cheat on me?
How else is it gonna not be your baby?
Because we could have just been dating and not formally have announced that we're in a relationship while it happened.
Okay, let's say that happened. Would you stay with her?
I don't know if that's an absolute deal breaker. If she got a lot of redeeming qualities. If she cheat on me, we got a problem. But if it's somebody that I met that was pregnant, or somebody that I met that we were dating and was still having casual interactions with people and got pregnant, I don't know.
Okay.
Mostly no. Okay, mostly no. I don't know if a woman exists with the level of redeeming qualities, but I'm not going to say absolutely not. She might be 99% of what I want, but the 1% is that she had a baby that ain't gonna be mine.
And you got a dad who may or may not want to be involved, so now you got this other nigga that's going to be around now. From my perspective, fuck no. If I'm dating, hell, the guy that I'm dating right now, if he called me and was like, hey, Red, because we just dating and stuff, and I just found out I'm going to be a dad. Good luck with that, nigga. Godspeed. Good luck. It's too much. I don't want to be involved in that. If it's still in the beginning stages where you are still out here able to do your thing, that means that I'm not that invested yet. And that means that I have, on the one hand, I can continue this with you with this huge fucking complication that we now have. Or I could just find somebody that ain't got these complications. And I'm not far enough in the beginning where I can't walk away from this shit. It's too much. I'm sorry.
Ideally, no. You know what I'm saying? But it's not, I don't think it's an absolute deal breaker.
Mine is a deal breaker
type situation.
Because now, you're going to have all these interactions with her while we're still trying to decide, date and see. It's too much. And then pregnant women and I just don't want to deal with that shit. I don't want to deal with her calling you in the middle of us doing some shit because she having Braxton Hicks. I don't want to deal with that's too much. I'm sorry. Like, you need to focus on the fact that you about to be a dad and not on me. It's too much.
I've been in a situation before.
I have not.
I've
been cheated on and somebody got somebody pregnant while we were together.
Well, I started talking to somebody that didn't know they was pregnant while we was talking. And I don't remember how long it take you to find it out, but like we was talking for a while and then she found out she was, but it like created a lot of dilemmas with her faith and her family and so it created a lot of dilemmas, so she like distanced herself.
It's a difficult
but like after that, like we still kind of hung out while she was pregnant, a little bit, but like she distanced herself to a level where we couldn't really, she needed to focus on that and her becoming a mom.
It's too much.
So it's not an absolute deal breaker, but because
nope. I'm not doing it. It is a deal breaker for me. That would be, you need to focus on what y'all finna do with this. Like, I don't need to be a distraction to this. And I don't want to feel like an asshole if I get upset because it's too much. You just need to focus on that situation and work that out with her.
But I mean, at the end of the day, I want to date somebody that does not have children, may or may not want children. And if we do have children, I want it to be a combination of me and her. Yeah. I don't, and it took me a long time to say this out loud, especially considering where I work. I don't want to foster or adopt kids.
Yeah.
I work with foster kids and kids that are adopted and kids that just go through those issues, whether they adopted or not. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if I will ever have a break from work if I have a child at my house with some of the things that I work with kids on. Yeah. I'll probably be the best person to work with them and help them, but what about me?
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's selfish or not, but it's one of those things where it's really honorable to adopt and it's honorable to foster, but it's very important to know where your limitations are, because if you get into something because it's looked upon as a positive thing to do, but at the cost of your own emotional health and your own stability, mental stability, I know my limitations. Yeah. I know that I like to come home, kick my shoes off and just play the game for 3 hours. I like to do that in my future sometimes. But that's a big part of why I don't know if I want to have kids. Like, because I got to come home, get my shoes on, go pick a kid up and bring them back so they can play the game, that they want to play
or
instead
help
of me.
them with their homework.
Yeah.
If it's a weekday, they can't play.
So that's going to be hard. And I don't believe I'm the kind of person that would not be able to treat, once I commit to doing something, not be able to treat a child like it's mine. But if you're a foster parent or adopted parent, just from my experience, I tell you something. You cannot treat a foster or adopted kids like it's one of your own kids. I don't think it's possible, and I don't think it's a good idea. I think you need to treat that child within the context of what their experiences have been. Their experience is going to be different than yours. Your children, if you have them while you fostering or adopting, they had two parents, and they probably never got removed from the home. And it's really admirable to say, I treat them like they my own kids. But so I got a family that say I treat them like they my own kids, but they can't whoop the adoptive kid, but they can whoop their child. And so it's causing a dilemma between the foster child and their child, because they keep telling the kids, we treat y'all the same, but they don't, because they can't.
Whooping his ass, and I just got my ass whooped. Yeah.
But the son is used to that. Mm-hmm. He's fine with it, but it just creates a dilemma where, because they whoop their kid, they got to do other things with the foster child, like take their phone away from longer than they take it away from their actual son because they whoop their son. Mm-hmm. So, given this illusion that you treat those children the same, it's going to cause more psychological dilemmas between your actual kids and your kids. You got to treat a foster child within the context of the situation they've been through. Mm-hmm. And that you know, like I said, it take a long time to say this out loud, but I tell kids on my caseload, you can't be honest with yourself until you honest. You can't be honest with other people until you honest with the person in the mirror.
Yeah.
And so I had to tell myself things like this in the mirror to get comfortable enough with saying it out loud, you know? And so I'm not hiding from it now, whether it's popular opinion or not. And the lady at DHR keep trying to get me to be a foster parent. I ain't with it. But, you know, the essence of me is that I want to raise a child with a woman, the first, just me and her. That's us raising a child. And her being pregnant early in a situation outside of infidelity ain't a deal breaker for me. Infidelity is a deal breaker. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a wrap. Go find him. Or go find a dude. Go find a dude that's like me, who's okay with getting with you before being in a relationship while you're pregnant, and go for that. But like, infidelity early, it ain't many things early that I will accept. It depends on how early, but like if I have not started to invest in you, then it ain't much you could do that make me say, well, we'll stick it out. It's like, no.
Yeah. Next question. When you break up with someone, should you cut family ties too? I'm gonna say it depends on what level of family, right? I feel like if you're friends with somebody's cousin, as long as you ain't asking their cousin about what he's doing anymore, I could see that. But like parents, grandparents, them type of shits, you do not need to still be hanging out with his mama and y'all ain't together no more. That's fucking weird. Like,
so hanging out is the extent to it? Like, are we talking about unfriending on Facebook, blocking on stuff? Like, what are we talking about?
I don't really understand blocking it. I mean, because here's the thing. We don't have to interact just because we're friends. I got shit ton of people on that's on my list of friends that I never talk to. So I don't see you think you need to like block folks and shit, but like, and if somebody's birthday you want to post happy birthday on the wall, I can see that. But like, so he gonna kill me. But AC, y'all don't know who he is really, so it doesn't matter. AC has had 2 situations where the women have called his mom after they weren't together anymore. That's a problem. Like, no. Why are you doing that? Like, I feel like it depends on the level of family. Cousins, okay, I can see that. But like moms, dads, that type of shit, like, I just don't think that you should be cool with them like that no more after y'all ain't together no more. Like, the family comes as a package. And when that part gets severed, the package go back with it too. Like, I don't know. That's weird to me. I wouldn't.
I think it depends on how the relationship ends. You know,
even if it ends good, it's gonna be weird if he move on with somebody else. He got this other girl who getting mixed into the family, and then I'm still coming around and shit. Like, when we ain't together no more, that's gonna create. That would be weird for me. If this guy that I'm seeing now, if we got to the point where I met his family and I go to a family event and the ex is there, and he like, well, I didn't invite him, my mama did. The fuck is your mom still like? That's gonna be weird for me. I'm not gonna be okay with that. That's crazy. Why is your mama still talking to her like that? Why? Y'all ain't got no kid together. Why is she here? That's weird. Even if the breakup was good, it just seems like a weird thing for your new person to to deal with.
This is a layered situation. Like, I understand what you're saying, but like, it's so many different things you can be tied into with another person's family that you won't necessarily always cut it off.
Like what?
Know? Like, if you have a family member that is like connected you to something regarding your career, you know what I'm saying? Like, you work in an environment that they family work in too, and like, there's a lot of things that could be tied to that person.
But y'all, I feel like your interactions is still not gonna necessarily, or I wouldn't want our interactions to be the exact same, because it's weird after you break up, even if we work in the same building. If I don't have to see you, if I was going out of my way to see you because we were cool, because I was dating such and such, I'm not gonna go out of my way no more to see you.
So you are one hit quitter, right? Yes. Once you done fucked up, it's a wrap.
Yes. On
your world. Like, everything, the bridge with them on the other side and everything that's connected to them is gone. We know that's you. But what is me?
I won't say that. I mean, that sounds very cut and dry. I'm just saying, it ain't gonna be how it was prior to. I'm not gonna unfriend you on Facebook. I'm not gonna do all block you and none of that shit. But I'm not finna be showing up at family events either.
Oh, okay. So that is an extreme version of that. But I'm not
Or
not
even
gonna
calling somebody. If I dated a guy, we broke up, even if he was on good terms, I'm not still gonna. I used to. My cousin, got really close with her boyfriend mama. Okay, and they would talk on the phone, like they would call each other sometimes. It completely had nothing to do with him. That was just their relationship. When they broke up, like I wouldn't still be calling his mom to have these conversations that we were having before. Because I'm not with your son anymore, and it's weird now. Like, our relationship was based upon our equal love for your son. And now, I ain't with this nigga no more. So now this is weird that we still carrying on conversations. And I feel like it might be a little uncomfortable for him. That your mama's still talking to your ex-girlfriend regularly on the phone.
So, if you want to hit a quitter, I am... absolutely impartial, and I don't hang out with nobody, so I'm really not gonna build a deep connection with your folks. Now, I ain't saying that there ain't nobody that exists in your family that I would become that cool with, but my quirkiness don't really cater to the normal way that people think and people
True.
I ain't
the most friendly person. Like
that's why you're a one-hit quitter, okay? That's why, okay? You done with people real quick, So I'm not gonna build that, but I'm not gonna. So I don't have that. I ain't gonna build no relationship with it to have.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't see me building. I don't think I've ever been friends with nobody, like anybody that I was dating. Like no. I don't even think it was anybody that I was like, shit, I don't know what to do about such and such now that we ain't together. Like, I don't think I developed relationships like that with people, family.
So for me, even if I did, the variable upon which I base whether I still continue to have those connections is how the relationship ended. If it's a polarizing ending where there was problems and it's like take my side or take her side, I can do without all of that. If it was a decent ending and it was just, then I don't have a problem with those connections. But like I said, I don't reach out to nobody. So if my ex mama called me, we'll have a conversation. If one of her friends that I met call me, we'll have a conversation.
That might be a problem.
If I see one of her friends in the store, which I have recently, I'll have a little brief exchange, but them really kind of the same exchanges I had when I was in a relationship with her, because I didn't talk, like I don't talk to her friends like that. I don't talk to nobody. Like I kind of stay to myself.
Yeah.
In the context of a relationship. Now,
that's how I am.
But that's because that's also how she was. So I don't know what it look like in a relationship if that person has a ton of friends and shit. I mean, if I end up dating somebody that's isolated like me, then we won't have no problems with none of that. But
that's just weird.
But I'm personable. I get along with everybody. But
I'm personable.
I'm a lone wolf. Like my privacy.
Last one. This again, I don't know how to phrase this for you, but would you be okay with your man getting his baby mama a gift for Mother's Day? Why not? We're recording this on Sunday, so happy Mother's Day to all.
Happy Mother's Day.
So the guy, I saw this earlier this week, and the guy that I'm dating, is dating the right word? We're dating. Mm-hmm. The guy that I'm dating has children. And I asked him, do you get their mom something for Mother's Day? And he was like, hell no. I was like, okay. I was like, some people do. But if he had told me, yes, he gets them something for Mother's Day, I wouldn't have been upset about it, because what I would have seen it as is him giving thanks to her for giving him the kids that he had. You know what I'm saying? Like, for giving birth to the children that they, we don't see eye to eye now. We got these really great kids. I wouldn't have had the kids without you. Okay. I guess the equivalent would be would you be upset if you were dating somebody that had a kid and they got the dad something for Father's Day? I guess would be your equivalent. I wouldn't feel no kind of way about it. Like,
I'd probably encourage it.
Yeah.
I feel like I have so much unpopular man opinion. I just imagine there's some dudes listening to me like that nigga lying. He ain't telling the truth. He just saying that for GP. First off, don't enough people listen to this podcast for me to be saying nothing for GP, okay? So this is what I believe. I don't get anything by pretending, but as good as their relationship is, as good as our relationship is. Yeah. Because what I'm not trying to have is some dude that she hate her showing up while we trying to watch movies at night, thinking about killing her because he drunk and he remember the old days when she was single and he was single, but now she in a relationship and he don't like me. See, I need my woman to have the capacity to have a good relationship with the people that have wronged her or that she has wronged. Because you know what? If I'm ever on the shit side of her, I don't want to be somebody that she hates so much that she can't have a positive relationship or interaction with.
Yeah.
I would encourage, like, it's Father's Day. You gonna get your baby daddy something? I'll help you pick it out. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all need to be on good terms in my world.
So his reasoning, because we did have a conversation about this. His reasoning for not doing it is not because he doesn't appreciate them. It's because I guess they are the kind of women that he doesn't want any misunderstandings at the end of the day about what it is they are or are not doing. Like every conversation, he wants it to be about the kids. And so I guess he feels like they might misconstrue his intent behind giving them the gift, and I'm all for that because I don't want to have to check nobody. So like, if you feel like you can't give the gift and it be accepted for what it is and not more be read into it, then all right, you know them better. I don't know. I ain't never met him,
but I think it's a way to do that from my perspective, because
he a real well,
either way, what I would want is for that child, whether it's mine or not, if that child is in my household, I want that child to see as positive relationship between mommy and daddy as possible, even if I have to be a catalyst for helping that look good for the child. And so I would be like, listen, take the child and go get mom a gift through the child. Like, channel that gift through the child.
I think he does do that. Yeah, like, it
don't
he's
gotta
here.
Be,
see, the problem is he don't be here. Like, he ain't here.
It don't gotta be from you, but just make the essence of it something that the mama know you had to put some finances into getting to show a gesture, and for the kid to remember. I remember on that Mother's Day, me and my daddy got this. I remember on that Mother's Day, me and daddy got this. So for me, anything I do will be for the purpose and essence of creating a positive life experience for that child. We adults, we can handle bullshit, but I'm now complicit in helping you participate in creating a life for another person and creating character and creating personality, and to just make sure, if we can't create none of that other shit, to at least make sure they got a baseline of no trauma or as limited trauma as possible. And I think to reduce that, those are the measures you got to take. So I'm okay with that. Now, I guess when we start getting over into birthday gifts, we getting a little bit more out there, but I'm also not going to...
Anything that connects back to the child, I'm with. Mother's Day connects back to the child because she gave birth to this child that you love. I'm all right with it. Fuck her birthday. I don't care about her birthday.
More unpopular man opinion, I don't know. I'm just not the kind of person that's going to force you to cut off and invalidate a relationship that you think is important if you think it's important.
I don't feel like saying you don't need to be getting birthday gifts is cutting it off or invalidating.
Well, this is the thing. I feel like the person that I end up with is going to know that kind of thing is inappropriate in the context of relationships. So, but if I have to deal with it, then I don't know. It'll be a conversation rather than a point blank hell fuck no. He ain't getting nothing. You know what I'm saying? It just, you just really never know.
I'm learning how to say things in a much nicer way. So I wouldn't say hell no, fuck that bitch birthday, but I would find a much nicer way to say, well, maybe no, maybe not, maybe not.
But you getting them. And how much is our income? Like no income that's important to us. I guess if we married, income for everybody becomes a situation. You know.
That was all the questions that
All
are
right.
hard. So,
All right.
if you have a question that you would like for us to answer on the show, you can send it in to our Gmail account, which is conversationconartist@gmail.com. Or you can find us on Facebook, Conversation Con Artist, and you can hit us up that way. So, R. Kelly.
Can we talk about blackness before we talk about R. Kelly?
Okay.
I mentioned blackness was on trial.
Yes.
You know, so I kind of want to talk about why blackness has been on trial as of late, or how blackness has been on trial as of late. So, are you aware of the Yale student napping incident?
Student napping incident.
Yeah. Hashtag napping while black.
Oh, yes.
Well,
yes.
she was studying. She went to sleep in the common area.
Yeah.
Clearly, she had a cover, so she brought a cover down.
Yes.
But she had her books open. She had everything with her that would indicate that she is a person that is studying. And another white student called the police on her and said that she had the right to call the police because she wasn't supposed to be sleeping in the common area. Now, the question is she a student here? You know, because what's the difference between somebody like intentionally sleeping there and falling asleep while studying?
Well, so even if she wasn't supposed to sleep in the common area, calling the police, like I went to school. They have RA. There are people in the dorm that she could have went to. Calling the police was way more than what should have happened. Even if she wasn't supposed to be sleeping in there. Even if you did want to like tell on her for falling asleep or whatever. The police being called was way, way more than what the fuck should have happened. The RA on staff, RA on call, the resident assistant for that particular dormitory was who should have been contacted, not the motherfucking police because somebody was sleeping in a dorm. The fuck? Like, the police should never have been called.
So, the reason I'm pointed out the way I'm pointed out is, what do white people believe the job of the police is? Because one, let's say she was a homeless person that beat up a student down the street and took their books and laptop and came in to pretend like they was looking like they was studying and taking a nap. You know, let's say that's the case. She was not doing you any harm. She was not bothering you. You literally walked by a black person sleeping and felt threatened to somehow. Now, let's say you didn't feel threatened. Let's say she felt entitled. Your entitlement literally is not being impacted by a black person being asleep where she was at. And you know what? White people got a role to play in this, but the reason that this situation is problematic is because when the police get there, they make the black person prove that they supposed to be where they at. They went to her dorm room, where she was in her dorm, in her comfortable shit, where a neighbor was at. Mind you, she was close enough to this girl to know that she fucking lives in that dorm room. She knew that girl lived in that dorm room. She called the police because a girl who she knows is a student, who knows, I guess, they know people study from time to time, but was offended enough that she would sleep to call the police. But the police come and ask her to prove that you supposed to be where you at. Show us your student ID. And then concluded that it wasn't a police matter. When would it ever be a police matter? How would that situation be a police matter? Somebody, if a white person call, or if anybody call and say, if somebody sleep in the dormitory, I think that the person on the phone should say, that's not a police matter. Go to your RA. That starts to make me wonder what she said on the phone.
Because it couldn't have been that she was asleep in she had to say more than that for the police to come, because that is not a police matter. Somebody being asleep in a fucking dormitory, no matter where they are in the dorm, people sleep. Like, when I was in college, in undergrad, the building that I stayed in, every floor had this huge lobby. Like, they had chairs and shit. And they encouraged you to come out of your room because they had big ass windows to study. And in studying, sometimes you studying some boring shit, you might fall the fuck asleep. That's what happens in a college dorm room, or a dormitory in general. In the common areas, I walked by many a times, and I was an RA, and motherfuckers might have nodded off. It was not anything that offended me. It was not anything that scared me. It was not anything that I felt the need to contact anybody about. If anything, I might have went over and been like, hey, might not want to be sleeping out here. Somebody might come steal your laptop while you sleep. You know what I'm saying? That kind of shit. But as far as feeling a need to call the police because I saw somebody asleep in a dorm, bitch, that's what they do. Like, college is tiresome. The shit you study is boring. You might fall the fuck asleep in the common area. It's not a crime.
So, in this situation, we don't have her reasoning for calling the police. And I mean, she say that she's entitled to call the police.
You're not, though.
and we don't really know what she said on the phone to the police.
It had to be more than that she was asleep for them to come.
It had to be. Now, in more Blackness on Trial news, we go to a situation where we have video of the actual call. Barbecuing while black. So there was some people barbecuing in the park, black people, clearly, and a white lady just walked up treating them kind of crazy, telling them, you can't barbecue here. This is a no charcoal zone. And then when the lady said, no, we can barbecue here, we saw the map. Mm-hmm. We can't grill here. Well, no, you can't grill here with charcoal. So it got real specific then, because the city has to pay a lot of money out for children who end up getting sick from the improper charcoal disposal. Now, first off, you're assuming that we're going to dispose of the charcoal inappropriately. So you think we just going to pour the charcoal out on the ground once we get done. So that's disrespectful. But then to act like cities pay out funds for kids that get sick. Bro, ain't no city finna pay for nobody's sickness because it's something going on.
Nope. Not in no public
They gotta have a class action lawsuit for that to happen. You know what I'm saying? Just like them old commercials. If you or one of your loved ones have been affected by asbestos and you have mesothelioma, call the offices of Get You Paid and we will get you paid. Like, that's how that shit work. The city ain't paying that shit out. Like, a lawyer got to have a class action lawsuit against whatever company or whatever organization did that shit. Yep. And they definitely not going to even know what black person was barbecuing and poured that charcoal out. But the city definitely ain't going to do it because your dumbass child was digging under the ground and was sniffing charcoal for some reason, okay? But what happened is a white lady showed up and said, why you bothering these people? You know what I'm saying? So this, we'll have this discussion later at a different date, but this gets into the dialogue about what we as black people supposed to do with good white people, air quotes. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I think being a good white person has to have limitations. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're going to be an ally to the black cause, how far are you going? Yeah. If America went to shit tomorrow and they put every black person on and a black ally on their knees and a gun to the back of their head and started pulling triggers, like how many allies would be down there knowing that their whiteness can save them? You know, that's an extreme example, but that's also another conversation. But this lady showed up and was like, why are you harassing these people? They ain't doing nothing wrong. They only grilling. And she recorded 25 minutes of this, telling this woman, you know, you're wrong. So black people can't barbecue while they grill? You know, and she was just in her face, basically like just at her ass for being disrespectful as she was. She went and talked to the black people. She said, so y'all are just barbecuing? And this lady is just being like this? And she said she's going to call the police? So she's calling the police. She's on the phone with the police. So at some point, the white lady who came in pulled out some kind of card to show her ID or something. And the lady who called the police snatched the card out of her hand and kept it. And from that moment on, this was a 25-minute video, the woman started going at her about, give me my card back. You've assaulted me because you snatched something from me that you shouldn't have had. This is while she was on the phone with the police. And the lady who called the police started off with her arms crossed, looking down on the black folks like she's the letter of the law, but quickly turned into, oh no, someone's assaulting me. She's following me. She won't leave me alone. Oh my God, she won't. And the lady in the background said, give me my card. She kept saying, give me my card back. It seemed like she was smart enough to know that whoever she's talking to on the phone need to hear that she's done something to me to report to the police officer. And she's like, she's giving her directions and where she was at. And she said she wasn't saying nothing about the black. Now, she had called the police on the black people and they hadn't got there yet. And so when she got to the police, which she walked away. She got to the police. She broke down in tears, crying.
Yes.
Which was obviously an act. Mm-hmm. And that 25-minute video, if the police officers chose to watch it, would show how her act was. Mm-hmm. But in this case, we actually have video of her communicating with the police and what she did on that call and how deeply she manipulated that story to get the police to sympathize with what she was going through, leading to her breaking down in tears about that situation.
You know how many murders that happen behind white women tears? Just crying and this is occurred, and so let's go out and...
it didn't occur, but I'm just crying.
Yeah. Yep.
Emmett Till is the
Emmett Till is the main example of that.
Is D1.
Yeah.
Yeah. And 60 years later, well, nothing happened. For real. I mean, I know they burnt down the whole town and everything, killed a lot of black people, but my bad. You know what I'm saying? So in this instance, we actually had evidence of how she sought to manipulate the situation, but it is really crazy. I just don't suggest you watching that 25-minute video. It ain't worth it. I watched it, but it ain't worth it. Transition from I'm superior to y'all, I know the rules, and y'all shouldn't be doing this.
Oh my God, help me! No.
These women in the talk to harassing me after she spent all her time harassing those people at the park. Okay, so transitioning to more Blackness on Trial news. We have Airbnb and Wild Black, where we all know what Airbnb is. Everybody should know what Airbnb is. And you know what? If you're white and you're Airbnb-ing, you need to let the people in your community know, right? Mm-hmm. And something that don't bother me, but I experience often, and I know the families that I work with have conversations about it, is I work with foster care kids, and they usually live in nice neighborhoods. They usually have nice, decent houses because they have extra rooms to house extra children. Mm-hmm. And I know it's been so many times that the owner of the home has been called and the police have been called because I'm there. And a lot of times I'm just in the house by the time the police get there, or the people that I'm there with communicated that, he's with me, mm-hmm. Because I had one of my families joke about it. He told me that somebody called and let me know that a big black man was outside of my house. And I just told him, hey, that's just one of our new foster kids. Ha, 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 ha. But what it did for me, and the crazy part is he was so disconnected with understanding what that means for me. Yeah. That means if I'm on somebody's porch, there is somebody looking at me wondering if I'm supposed to be where I'm at. Yep. You know what I'm saying? And I can't, and I got another kid that's not from this country, and I was knocking on the door, he didn't answer, and he told me I should have looked in the window. And I said I would not dare look into the window of a house that I'm standing outside of in a community that I don't live in. And I had to help him understand why that was a little bit of my paranoia, mm-hmm. but it's rooted in my experiences. So if you are Airbnb, you need to tell your community that that's what this house is for. You're going to see a diverse range of people and people coming in and out of this place all the time. That's what's going to happen. So what happened is 3 people Airbnb-ing, which means they've been coming in and out, mm-hmm. and they got done and were ready to leave. They were moving they stuff out. A lady across the street apparently waved at them, and because they didn't wave back, she called the police. I mean, this is a situation where we don't know what she said on the phone, but we know the reasoning.
Because we didn't wave back.
But the essence of not waving back is because they was black. You know what I'm saying? That's the reason. But in all these situations, it really don't matter the reason. We don't know what happened with the confrontation between the barbecue and Wild Black lady turned into a white on white confrontation, by the time they got to the police. Mm-hmm. But what happens is the police get there and they question the validity of black people's ability to be where they at. That's a problem. And so in further Blackness on Trial news, we need to just cancel Waffle House, y'all. I mean, I don't really like boycotts, and to be honest, we probably should have been canceling Waffle House because of the cold waffles that they cook and you can see it, as opposed to IHOP. You can see when they pull that waffle out of the waffle iron, and for a fact that they not bringing you your waffle right now. Yep. And some waitresses and waiters, they wait. A server. Some servers wait, to get you closer to more of your food, but some of them know the importance of a hot waffle. If I put butter in the middle of my waffle and it don't start melting, you dead wrong for that. So one, we should have been canceling Waffle House because they bathrooms are always horrible. They silverware always got water spots. You think they'd be able to figure that out by now? They bring you cold waffles. They food is good after 12.
Yep. If you've been to the club and you go to Waffle House, it's good. But like going on a regular day just cause, nope.
So like I said, I ain't really all boycott I don't be boycotting nothing because it's gonna be hard for me to say I ain't going to Waffle House no more because after 12, you know what I'm saying? But as is the case in America, we just need to be careful where the fuck we at, man.
Little boy going to the prom.
And that little boy that went to the prom, now he got into a confrontation with the Waffle House people, so the police probably was supposed to be called in that case, but
they were throwing him around like a rag
But
dog.
the interaction that the police had with the boy, that's a problem.
Tossing him all around.
I mean, I respect the boy for what he was saying. He was like, get your hands off me and get your supervisor out here. Like, that's what he was saying the whole time. Like, I respect what he was saying, but, and I hate this message. We just got to be careful with the situations that we put ourselves in.
That's what it is.
We black in America. Shit ain't new.
Nope.
Like with Bill Cosby situation. People keep saying, well, they ain't persecuting these white men like they persecuting Bill Cosby. Bitch, did you just step into America yesterday? Where the fuck you think you been? You have been in the land of white men not getting persecuted the same rate as black men getting persecuted. Accurate. You've been there. What the fuck make you think they won't persecute Bill Cosby over some other gentleman that's doing it like this? This ain't new.
Nope.
I, as a professional that done follow all the rules that America done said do, hey, they said don't have no illegitimate children. Ain't got none. They said don't go to jail and have no felonies. Ain't got none. They said don't do drugs or don't sell drugs and substances. Never even fucking done a drug or no substance. They tell you go to school, get your education. I got my K through 12 education, no problems. Went to college, got a degree, went to college again and got another degree. They say go contribute to your community and your neighborhood. I'm contributing the fuck to the community that I live in, not the one that I'm from, but the one that I live in. Mm-hmm. And you know what? I still got to be conscious of where I'm the fuck at.
Yep. You do.
I still got to worry about the next door neighbor of a house that I'm supposed to be at, not believing that I'm supposed to be there.
Because it goes back to that group in mentality. You can try to separate yourself from blackness, but to the outside people, you are as guilty as the rest of us. You are as thuggish, as more likely to steal, as you probably casing this house. That is, you still going to be put into that category because they're not going to look at you and see those things. They just look at you and see you black.
So blackness, y'all, is on trial. But the secret is it's been on trial ever since we all was born.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't really think that the trial is going to end anytime soon. It is going to continue. The best thing we can do is be informed, have our sources, know what the fuck our limitations are in the context, but while also simultaneously working on solutions for those limitations. Mm-hmm. I ain't saying just sit back and let America happen to your ass, kind of like my mama and them taught me. My mama was like, listen, white people gonna white, so just let them white.
Yep.
But not at the fucking cost of me blacking. I don't know other way to put that. Not at the cost of my blackness. Like, why do I have to let them be who they are at the cost of my comfort?
Yeah.
I'm over that shit. So we all gonna be uncomfortable in this bitch if I got something to say about it. You finna be uncomfortable because I'm gonna speak on it. I'm finna be uncomfortable because to be black is to be in a constant state of discomfort. But we all finna be uncomfortable until we can transition this shit. So, blackness on trial. I just want to talk about that. We're going to follow up blackness on trial with talking about This Is America. But you can go ahead for
We can go ahead and wrap this up so we don't have to come back.
Okay. I just want to talk more about This Is America. We mentioned it last week because
America.
It had just come out that morning before we recorded last week.
You slipping though. Yep.
And I just wanted to talk a little bit more about the imagery of it. And I know everybody's doing this, but fuck it. I want to do it too.
It's very impressive that this is a music video that you have to watch multiple times. I don't think that anybody can watch that video once through and see everything there is to see. Because the first time you see it, your eye is drawn to him and the kids dancing. And I feel like that's the point, that your eye is drawn to them. And then when you go back and you watch it again, you see all of this chaotic bullshit happening in the background. Like, you see Donald Glover shoot those two people, the choir, and you see him shoot the guy at the beginning. But there is a shit ton of other stuff going on behind that you get distracted from because of them dancing ass kids. Like, if when you go back and watch it again, it's just amazing the amount of stuff happening in the background of that video that you don't really notice. Because you're looking at them doing all of these popular dances. And I didn't even know he could dance. Let me just say that. I didn't realize that he could dance as well as he can.
Do you think he was America?
I don't think he was America.
I kind of think he was.
Why do you think he was America?
Well, one, every time he did something, he looked straight in the camera and say, "This is America." Like when he did them two shots, he looked dead in the camera and said, "This is America." And I think a lot of things, I think that one, the pants that he had on was a shout back to those Confederate gray pants with the buttons set up the way they were. He was doing a lot of the minstrel show movements. The facial expression was from minstrel shows. Mm-hmm. That little pose he did was from, like one of those minstrel show poses. I think that he was embodying a lot of shit that white America did, because the minstrel shows was white people that was in blackface. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like he was America, because I don't think the representation was supposed to be a black man doing this shit.
I think so. For me, I separated him from the actions. Like, for me, it wasn't him being black or white. It was the actions themselves. Him, shooting somebody and that person being drug away while the gun, each time, if you notice, when he used the gun was put in a nice little cloth and carried away, while the bodies of the people who died were just left there, or they drug old dude off the first time. The choir just was there, just dead. Nobody cared, and they kept moving on. For me, what I saw was, this is America. That's what America is. America is a place where guns have more, people care more about guns than they care about the people. America is a place where you become so desensitized to the stuff around that you can watch these things happen and still enjoy these kids dancing. Like, you don't, him doing that gunshot in the beginning is shocking. But when they started dancing, I was still like, okay, but they still do. So I feel like all of the stuff that was happening in that video is what America is. Like, I wasn't looking at it like him doing the stuff as much as it's just, this is what's being done. We get easily distracted. And so you will get upset about the guy being shot. But eventually you forget about that because you're watching the kids dance. And you do get upset when the choir gets shot. But eventually you forget about it because now the kids are dancing again, and the music, even the switch in the beat. Like when the kids come, it's that da 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 da, like, oh. I feel like all of that is like indicative of how we just get desensitized to shit, like, and we move on, right? We have all these hashtags, and then we move on because it's inevitable that it's just gonna happen again. And you kind of just gotta get desensitized to it, where it's not as impactful anymore.
So you got him dancing in the video. In the background the whole time, I mean, you see riots happening. You see just people running around.
Somebody get thrown off of a fucking off the top of the
it looked
thing.
like he committed suicide. Like he looked like he did that himself. I mean, you see a white horse with a black figure riding on it. I mean, police cars on fire. Mm-hmm. You see in the last scene, you see old cars just back there. It's a SZA cameo in that little area too.
I didn't understand her cameo. But
she just probably might be working on a project with the man. You never know with his new album.
I did notice that the kid, he was doing all of this crazy shit, right? The kids ran away though when he had the pretend gun.
You know what I'm saying? When he was unarmed.
When he was unarmed.
Yeah.
Because that, we're scary, even without, yeah. So him not having the gun is when the kids ran away.
Another thing in the background was like somebody had one of them money shooters where you shoot money and stand on top of a car. So it's like it represented some of the stuff that black culture participates in, just some of our social ills. But yeah, that scene. So that's where I'm trying to figure out if he's America. The entire video is America coming to his reckoning by running away from everything that he was running away from, and like the most potent part of him running was the look of terror on his face and how he encapsulated it so well. You know what I'm saying? So if he's America, is America coming to a dawn of reckoning where America is gonna have to fucking face this shit at some point? Or was he really an individual, and until he was unarmed did he get those consequences? Because he got away with it the other 2 times and just got his little dancing jig on. But when he didn't have the gun,
that's when the kids ran away. He starts running down that hall, and it's just people chasing him.
And not only that, but if you notice, the dude who started playing the guitar at the beginning, playing the guitar,
he come back later
with a bag over his head while playing the guitar, like. Is that a representation of his identity being gone now? Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
I think so. I mean, because at some point, again, it's so much stuff happens. You don't, we done had a bajillion hashtags, like it feels like. And, you know, it just becomes overwhelming at some point. And so it does kind of feel like the identity of some of these people becomes lost because you can't keep up with all of these people. So yeah, I mean, him having who put the bag on his head? He put the bag on his head before he shot him?
We didn't see that. It zoomed in. He was playing the guitar and it zoomed in to Childish.
And then when it came back, he already had the
bag on his head with no guitar now.
His identity got stolen when he got shot. And even when he came back, he still had no identity at that point.
And the crazy thing is, I like the dancing so much.
It's so great.
I like the dancing so much.
They did such a good job.
And he snuck some words in there. He snuck, like, it's really easy to see. It's kind of mumbly, and it's kind of that turn up music type style, you know. And he mostly just say, "This is America. Don't catch you slipping." No, like you can hear that most of the time, but he slip in that. You know,
be people in the
get
background
your money, black man. Yep, that shit. And then at the very end, he say every black man is a barcode. You know what I'm saying? Like it sneaks some shit in there that's relevant, but which would be fucking perfectly hidden in a Saturday Night Live performance that he did before the video came out. You know, like. People hearing that song was like, okay, they probably didn't pick up very much. And now the video put so much context behind a lot of those words, even though it's a lot of repetition. It got one part he said, he got the one part where he said, "I'm so pretty." You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I really feel like he was America. I feel like he was America, and everything he was saying was America doing all that shit he was doing. I'm just still trying to interpret what that means.
You know, we never gonna actually get an interpretation because he's never gonna do it.
Yeah, he's not that person. Like that for a while.
Yeah, he's not gonna explain his vision.
They posted an old video on Breakfast Club of a Childish Gambino interview in terms of just talking about. So, first of all, Charlamagne the God, as it pertains to Childish Gambino, is a hater, right? And because he talk a lot about Childish Gambino being musty. He ain't the only one. You know what I'm saying? Like I think he's just one of them alternative natural dudes. At least he went through that phase. In the interview, he had on an old sweater with holes in it, and he was like, they were like joking on like, "You look really comfortable." And he was like, "So where you get that sweater?" Because he was talking about telling Jaden Smith, "Don't wear nothing." Not Jaden, Chance the Rapper. Don't wear nothing if they ain't paying you for it. Like, you should be. And he's because nothing I got on his name brand. I don't really wear brand. And they said, where you get that sweater from? And he was like, this is gonna sound crazy, but my friend's dad died and it was his, so I got it from. So it was his, so I'm wearing it. He's just like, it's just extra ultra comfortable. It's been worn in. But in that interview, he was talking about blackness, and Charlamagne could not get it. He was basically, so he wrote a poem called "I Wish I Was a White Rapper," and it was basically, you know, talking about how he wishes he was a blank slate, because a white rapper can be like, being white, you could be whatever you want to be. You know what I'm saying? You're a blank slate when you white. It don't matter what you do, what you wear. They justify your existence for where you at. When you're black, it don't matter what you wear. They criticize your existence for where you at. And Charlamagne could not get that. But in this video, he was being so critical of people who were supporting it. You know, and people were saying like Childish Gambino, because it was a call-in segment. He was like, Childish Gambino was what Kanye West wish he was. And he was like, hold on now. Like, Childish Gambino ain't the black savior, you know, because he still got a white wife, and
she's Asian. She's not white.
Yeah,
but yeah.
And he wrote. I think she's Armenian.
Is she Armenian?
I think she's Armenian.
Okay.
And he wrote this poem called "I Think I'm White" when he explained that poem to Charlamagne. So it's like, Charlamagne ain't even willing to listen to his interpretation.
Meanwhile, you got on the Breakfast Club talking about some that fucking interview with Kanye was gonna explain so much, and it didn't explain shit. Kanye's still problematic out here. That interview didn't do anything.
But like, and I ain't gonna rehash this conversation, but we had a conversation about some of the problems that Childish Gambino has had, you know, in the context of probably the over fetishization of Asian women. But you know, I don't think he's really said much that is that level of offensive. I think it's one of them situations where a lot of black women got mad at him for dating outside of his race, but while talking about racial things. You know what I'm saying? But even in that interview, he said he don't think he can date a white person because he needs somebody to be as racist as he is. But he said he can't. He said he think he can, but it'd have to be a really specific situation. But the only reason I'm bringing up Charlamagne in this dialogue is because it's a lot of people who are looking at Childish Gambino and just very critical of what it is. And you know, I don't know why this video.
I fucking love that song, the video. It is,
and
I feel like it is what Kanye wishes that he was. Like, this is what he says that he is. I'm trying to think of something Kanye West has done that has made. Again, this is not a video you can watch once and get it. You are not going to be able to watch it. You're going to watch it. If you just watch it once, you will not understand what all the hype is about. You will not understand why people are talking about it. If you watch it again and you pay attention to the things that are going on, you will understand what the conversation is about. I don't know. I'm trying to think of something that I think that's what Kanye says that he is, that he's this musical genius that does all these things. But I don't know that that's who he is.
Well, I got into a dialogue with some people who were like, and I was like, hey, this is just a fantastic portrayal of what America is. And they were like, I don't know if I call it fantastic or not. And I think that if you watch this video, I think you need to discern the difference between you being tired of the over visualization of what happens to Black America in America versus a decent artistic representation of it. I'm not saying you got to look at that art and like it, but I do think that it's important for us to know how tired we are of that. You know, because if you are tired of Childish Gambino talking about race, you got to be tired of everybody talking about race. Or is it just the depth to which this is the depth of discomfort that this visual provides? Is it the level of discomfort? You know, so should everybody who talks about race bring it down to where you're comfortable enough to talk about it? You know what I'm saying? You've got to acknowledge and recognize where you are with that in order to move forward, because one person that called said, I'm just tired of seeing so much Black death, and you know, why does he have to show that? And it's like, dude, are we supposed to hide it? Are we not?
The better question is, why is it happening? Like, the real deaths is what I have a problem with.
Like, why is there content for his material?
Yep.
You know, why does he have something to, like, I would rather live in a utopia where nobody even have this to think about, because it ain't a part of what happens in their day-to-day living. You know, but it is.
It is,
you know.
unfortunately.
So I think that we got a lot to figure out in the context of that situation. Was there anything else? Because I lost my train of thought on it. Anyway, I just wanted to give a little breakdown of This Is America, because we mentioned that he came out with a new video and it was cool, but I've watched it so many times since, and I spent like an hour last night watching reaction videos because they have like British react. I like seeing other countries' reactions to shit that happen in America. So like British reaction, this one dude from India, his reactions, or Russian, his reactions, general just white people reaction. But then, you know, there's a whole bunch of, it's just all the react. I was looking at a lot of them because there's some other reaction video people that I follow, you know, and it's just looking at their reactions to it was very interesting, emotional for a lot of people, you know, which I understand.
Yeah.
But this has brought a lot of dialogue out. Like, it's crazy because instead of, if Kanye's true subconscious goal is to gain attention, Childish Gambino just showed that you can bring vast amount of attention, 80 million views, to just showing what the fuck is going on in this country and not denying it. You know, so that's my blackness is on trial situation.
We'll get to R. Kelly. So Future and Young Thug, did you know they were friends?
Yes.
Did you know they were best friends?
Did not know that.
Did you know that they're good enough friends where they got each other's names tattooed on them?
Like they real names or they rap names?
I don't, let's see. I don't know if it was, you would ask that fucking question. What difference does it make? Why do you care?
Because real names is way more personal. It's regular people out here with Future and Young Thug name on their bodies. But if you exchange real names on your body,
it doesn't say.
Like, why do people even know?
Because according to Young Thug, he and his bestie Future got each other's names tatted on them. Man, me and this nigga got each other's names tatted on us. That's how we feel. It's forever. He revealed on a sit down with Spotify. But I don't know if they got their actual names or if they got their stage names. I don't know. But so what I want to talk about.
I wonder if they have conversations in auto-tune.
So in the age of toxic masculinity, so let me just say this. I would not get one of my friends' names tattooed on me. I would not get my best female friend. I'm not tatting your name on me because it's stupid. I'm not getting anybody's name tattooed on me. But for two grown men to do this, with Young Thug having the questionableness that he does, it just, I giggled at my desk probably 10 minutes when I because it's so ridiculous. Black China fucked Future one time and got Future tatted on her hand, and this nigga paid her dust. Him and Young Thug decided. But Young Thug's name, he'll get tattooed on him.
I wouldn't get nobody's name tattooed on me. I don't even know if I would get a tattoo.
Somebody with tattoos, I will get a tattoo. I will not get your name tattooed on me.
See, I look at it like this. First off, I don't know. The only people that would be important enough to me to say I'm going to get a tattoo representing your existence would probably be my woman or my child or my children or whatever. But the thing is, if you get one child tattooed, you got to get them all of them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So people who get, like this woman I saw a picture of a woman with a big ass picture of her child tattooed on her back. And a dude basically sent a message and said, so when I have sex with you and I'm doing it doggy style, I gotta be looking at your son. Like, hell no. Why would you do that?
I didn't even think about that. Just have to do a missionary, bruh. Just do a missionary. You won't have to look at him.
No. You ain't finna eliminate the possibilities.
You ain't gonna, either
and
look at her son.
What's even worse is finishing on your back If that's the case. Oh my goodness.
Okay, so either you deal with the son or you do a missionary. Those are your options with her. You either gonna have to get past looking at.
And what if that's stepdaddy? You still got to go in the kitchen and see him in the damn morning at the table. All you can do is shake your head and look down. No eye contact. Because you know how pictures work. Yeah. They always give you eye contact. It don't really matter.
Oh my! I just don't believe in getting names tattooed.
Just for that being said, I would get. It would have to be a symbol. Like it would have to be something that I know and you know, and the world don't have to know. If somebody hear me, then maybe. But like I feel
if we break up, I know what it represents. I don't want to have to see this shit that remind me of your bitch ass. I don't want that. I just don't.
It could be a good thing.
How?
What you mean how?
Why would it be a good thing?
Because as soon as you see the shit that the next dude putting you through, you look at that tattoo, be like, nope, you are gone. Because I remember this shit, you know. Or the way I look at it, I mean, if I feel like you were important enough to me because of how I feel about tattoos and I don't want no tattoos, I would still value what you contributed up to that point. Like, I don't know what you did to mess the situation up, but
I don't get people's. I just don't do that. I don't believe in that. Definitely not no name. I wouldn't even get no symbol. Like, just no. I'm not doing it. The tattoos that I have on my body mean something to me that has something to do with me. Not one tattoo on me has anything to do with anybody that I have been with at all. Because them shits didn't work out. If I had got a nigga, something related to a nigga tattooed on me prior to today, this shit would be on me and the nigga's not with me. Like, no, I'm not doing it. Stupid. No thanks. Don't understand it. No. I first of all, I didn't know that they were even, friends. I don't even think that there's a level of friendship which I would do this on, but I didn't realize that their level of friendship was enough where they would get their names tattooed. And I wonder how Future feels about this, because I feel like it might be one of those situations where he agreed to do it because he thought nobody wasn't going to see. Like, it's probably and he got plenty of tattoos. It's probably in a place that nobody would even really pay attention to it. And then this nigga Young Thug out here running his mouth and then told the world that they got each other's names tattooed on there. Like, I would like to know.
He was dealing with?
Huh?
He knew who he was dealing with.
I mean, maybe he didn't know the nigga was going to out him like that and tell people.
Then he shouldn't have gotten the damn tattoo. That's his problem. He did that to himself.
That's how we feel. What? Young Thug? What? That's how you feel?
He like, Young Thug, shut up, bro. Always telling for business. What's wrong with you? But if you got something that you're comfortable with being on your skin permanently for another person, you should be comfortable with telling the world. So I feel like Future either shouldn't have did it or he should have been all right knowing. Or he should have told somebody who keeps secrets. Because at this point he probably think that people think that he gay. Because Young Thug's history with the black male population has been,
And now y'all got it's just not something that men do. Men will get their woman tattooed on them. I've seen that, but I just ain't never heard of a dude just getting his friend's name tattooed on him. Maybe that's a thing, but prior to this, I never heard of it. I could see women doing that well before. Because again, just because of toxic masculinity, I feel like niggas would assume that people would be like, oh, y'all on some gay shit. And even if they felt like it was something they wanted to do, the perception of people would keep them from doing it. I don't understand. That's just crazy to me. When I saw it, at first I was like, oh, this ain't real. They didn't do this. Because it just seems so ridiculous that they would.
They did it.
They would do it. I would like to hear Future's thoughts on it, because Young Thug was the one who let the cat out of the bag. So I
feel like Young Thug crazy.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
I mean, Future.
You feel like, well, both of them are crazy.
Especially since that King's dead.
La-di-da-di-da. Slap on me da.
Like, that ain't got no damn room in the Black Panther soundtrack. Okay? It don't. I don't care how woke the other two verses is, how socially connected the other two verses is. Why did they let him come in there and do that? Nobody in that studio could have said this fits perfectly.
It doesn't. It's stupid. It is very stupid. It doesn't go. Like, it's an odd part of that song.
So that's why I'm trying to figure out why did they let that stay?
Wow, you a tourist.
It don't make sense. But whatever.
Yeah. So I just wanted to talk because I was surprised that they did that. So let's talk about R. Kelly.
Let's talk about it.
So Spotify will no longer stream his music because they says that it breaches their hate content and hateful conduct policy. So to be clear, R. Kelly music will still be available on Spotify. However, Billboard reports
they took them out of playlists.
Yeah, beginning today, May 10th, Spotify users will no longer be able to find R. Kelly's music on any of the streaming services' editorial or algorithmic playlists. And of course, he's saying that it's all unfair because he's so hurt because he's done nothing wrong. And I got sent the most hilarious. Did you watch that video I put in the group of him as Denzel Washington at the end of Training Day?
No.
You did? I put it in a group where he was like, y'all gonna be listening to Justin Timberlake and Bruno Mars. I helped y'all get these chicks. Y'all ain't got laid because of me.
Damn, no, I didn't see that.
Yes. What did he say at the end? Who ain't got shit on him? Oh, Trey Songz ain't got shit on me. They did that whole speech that Denzel Washington gives at the end of Training Day. They did that, but for R. Kelly. And basically it's about how he helped all these niggas get laid, and now how you gonna do this to me?
This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous because R. Kelly, as soon as these other two girls started coming out giving their interviews about what they've been experiencing, he sent the other girl to LA on a vacation and made sure that she was somewhere where people saw her and was like, hey, ain't you the girl that's been in Chicago with R. Kelly?
Yeah, I get to go. Come as I please.
Just on vacation. As soon as them other girls had an interview to make it seem like, because they in those interviews, they talked about her being like captive, like she's brainwashed, which is what her parents been saying about this thing. But to try to make it seem like this is her choice, they sent her on vacation. And she just complying with the situation. And she said that when they met her, it put her at 14 when she was first there, with how old they are, because they stayed in it for some time too. You know.
That's so for everybody. Consent. There is an age requirement that's listed there, at least legally. However you feel personally, legally, there is an age at which the law has decided that a girl cannot consent. Even if she says yes to you, she's not mentally capable of giving you a yes. Okay? That's what that means. So, like, you can't be like, well, she was with it. No. Mentally, she's not capable of being with it. So, it don't matter what she said. That is not that's not an argument that you can make that she was in agreement with it. Because as far as the law is concerned, she can't. So, a 14-year-old is not capable of saying that she wants to sleep with a 40-year-old man. Sorry.
Unless their parents give them away.
They can. So how does that? Because I have a question about that. If the parent isn't it only legal if it's given away as far as marriage is concerned, in the context of, like, they can't just get, because that's just prostitution. Yeah. Like, otherwise it's just prostitution. If you giving us money or we benefited some kind of way and we give you our child just to have her, that doesn't count. They can give her away to be married, and then they can have sex within the context of the marriage, I guess.
Maybe that was the plan.
But if they're not married, then the parents can't even give consent for that. I don't think. Maybe I'm wrong. I had a question about that because this exact thing came up this week because I had a situation at work. But I don't think parents can give consent, like, for sex. Because that would just, you know how easy it would be for people to prostitute their kids out and under the guise of, well, we gave consent. It's okay.
Yeah, they can't get consent for sex, but I mean, maybe they thought that it would be something close to marriage and it just never got there, or, I mean, it had to be
It's
some
R.
reason.
Kelly. What I don't believe their intentions were that pure. It's gonna be something close to marriage.
We know that. A lot of us know that. Everybody don't know that. Some people are blinded by the celebrityism, and some people are just fangirling and fanboying out here.
Fuck R. Kelly. I just don't have no sympathy for him. I'm sorry. I don't. You are a predator, sir, and have been for years. And this ain't even half of the consequences you should have for the bullshit you've been doing. Like, this ain't nothing. Them not doing playlists with your music, like, that's nothing. That ain't, there's so much more you deserve for the shit you've done. So I don't give a shit. Like, his woe is me shit, he can kiss my ass. I don't care nothing about R. Kelly. Woe is me. They're treating me so wrong. Bitch, several seats. Fuck out of here. Emily B went to court with Fabulous. And she's standing by him. And so ain't shit niggas around the world are trying to use this and see y'all was all this about Fabulous and she's standing beside him and see that. No, that's what the fuck battered women do, niggas. That doesn't absolve him from knocking her teeth out, or that doesn't mean that he did knock her teeth out. What that means is that she's a battered woman, and that's what the fuck battered women do. They stand by their men. How do you think that these women end up getting killed a lot of time? Because they stick around to die. Very rarely is the first occurrence of violence the occurrence in which a woman dies. They have been abused at the hands of these men for a very long time, usually by the time they die. And so she's a better woman. That's what they do. Like, her going to court with him doesn't absolve him.
Yeah, this ain't gonna sound good, but staying with him don't mean she gonna die.
No, it doesn't mean that she's gonna die.
But depending on how bad a continuous life of abuse is, death may be mercy hell.
Yeah, but that's what I said.
I mean, I hate to say it like that.
No, you're right.
I hate to say it like that, but like, if a woman who had been abused for 40 years could look back 40 years and have died, I don't know what she would choose.
Yeah.
You know, so I hope what I said don't invalidate abuse or nothing. But
well, I wasn't saying that to say he's gonna kill her, but people feel like they don't understand that women stay for a very long time. Like, what I was saying was that it ain't you. The nigga don't kill you the first time out. Usually the first occurrence of violence is not a murder. Like, you get slapped, you get conditioned to stay there, and deaths come way later.
A woman that stays with a man ain't necessarily going to die, but when they die, this is what they did.
Yep.
Like, this is how it happened. Mm-hmm. So I'm just pointing out the difference between, like, you, because a toxic a man with fragile masculinity would be like, every woman gonna die because this happened. Okay, yeah, you're right. Every woman don't die in this situation, but when women in this situation do die, this is how it happens.
Yep.
And you know what? If your woman punched you in the face 5 times and busted your teeth out, you'll be gone.
Yep.
So your advice to women in that situation should be that they should leave. It should not in any form or fashion be that they should somehow stay for any particular reason.
Stand by their man.
They need to go. And if a man hit a woman, and like I said on the podcast, like, there is proof if your teeth got punched out.
Yes.
People giving him the benefit of the doubt, but that's what America do. Give men the benefit of the doubt when shit's going down and whatnot.
I just hate, and I understand why she's doing it, but I hate that she's doing it because, and this is part of what the difficulty in working with battered women comes in for me, is that this gives people that don't understand battered woman or just battered partner syndrome, because when men can be battered as well, that don't understand it is like, oh, well, she's staying. Why would she stay with him if he was hitting her? He must not be hitting her. That's the only shit that fucks with me about this. I understand why she's staying. But for dumbass niggas that were looking for a reason to absolve Fabulous of this shit, well, she going to court with him. Must not have happened. No, that's what battered people do. They go to court. Like, I work for 911. You know how many times I would have a woman call because her husband was beating the fuck out of her, but then by the time the police don't take him. I don't want y'all. They just wanted them to come get him off of her. But
that's why they both come.
Yep.
That's why they both going to jail now.
But don't take him. Don't take him off. I don't want y'all to take him. That's why. That's part of the cycle of being a battered person. So us being up there with him in court don't mean shit as far as guilt or innocence is concerned. He could be guilty as fuck of knocking her teeth out. She could still be standing there with a big ass space in her mouth, still taking up for him, because that's what battered people do.
You know, in order for a bully to be effective, it's got to be, they need a couple of things. One thing, they need an audience. But another thing is they need an appropriate victim. And the thing about people like R. Kelly and Fabulous is that they know how to choose a person that will accept their bullshit.
Yep.
R. Kelly knows how to choose a girl that will accept shackles, you know, psychological, mental, and physical. Somebody who will accept, you know, his tears, because they said he'll cry when he thinks something going wrong with them, and they trying to, you know, bug out of the situation. And in the Fabulous situation, an abuser knows how to choose somebody who will easily be abused. The thing is, I mean, I don't know how long their abuse happens, but you know, some men have dormant lying abuse in their systems that, you know, that happens at some point, you know. So I'm saying that to say that even a man that chooses, like, I feel like a woman who comes out and go to the police and do what she do and be like, hey, that ain't the ideal person to abuse. No. You know, so I don't want to act like it's dudes out there who know they women getting these hands. You know what I'm saying? But every man don't feel like that. They say that I don't believe in that, but you get a Fabulous who end up putting their hands on somebody. I ain't saying Fabulous, I don't know his history enough to know whether he's that type or not, you know, but it just still, like what I'm saying is supposed to highlight the fact that a man who intentionally chooses a woman to abuse, he gonna choose a woman that he can abuse. Mm-hmm. You know, but whatever. Since, you know, Childish Gambino, we talking about him a lot today, but since he's been out in this new light, who he has been regarded as the nerdy black guy, you know, the proper speaking black guy, the white on the inside, black on the outside guy. Mm-hmm. A new dialogue has come up about nerds, right? To where Childish Gambino getting all of this play because he's popular, and like nerdy guys who regard Childish Gambino as a nerd are out here saying, we don't get that kind of play. Women don't give nerds play like that. And then there's a whole bunch of women out here saying, ain't no woman ever, like, all the women that I'm seeing this dialogue say, we love nerds. Like, what are you talking about?
They're not being honest with themselves.
Well, what is missing in all of this is a definition of what nerdiness is. You know what I'm saying?
There's that, but there also those women.
I think that thug versus nice guy shit is different from the nerd shit. To be honest, I think it's different.
Why do you think it's different?
Because I don't think the nice guy is necessarily. I mean, nerd might be under the umbrella of nice guy, but I think nice guy. I don't think that means it has to be a nerd.
No, but most nerds are nice guys. It's like one of those situations where like nice guys don't have to be nerds, but most nerds are nice guys.
Well, we got to define nice guy then. You know what I'm saying? Because what is a nice guy in that sense?
Non-aggressive. I feel like a lot of times when women say that somebody is too nice, a lot of times they are saying that he's not as aggressive as they would like for them to be. Whether they are a thug or not, they may just not be very aggressive, and so they get placed into this nice guy category. I don't know what else I would constitute as nice, because everything else can kind of go one way or another. But I feel like most nice guys are not even. You don't necessarily have to be passive. but they're not aggressive either. And so for women that want to be an aggressive pursuit, a nice guy a lot of times ain't gonna give her that. You're not gonna get that if that's what you need. And I mean, I guess there could be some aggressive nerds out here. Maybe. I don't know.
Well, I guess when you talk about nerd, I start looking at like, I don't just start looking at like nice guy, like just not a thug. I start looking at like the anime. Why I just start looking at the what you do that kind of connects with an unpopular section of entertainment when it comes to black people. When you start talking about nerd, I start thinking more deeply like the chess clubs and the debate team and the anime watching and the listening to metal and rock and things of that nature. I'm thinking about like unpopular shit that group participates in.
But there are black women, black girls that do the same shit, that watch anime. There are some. I wasn't one, but there are some.
I don't know, but I think the dialogue is just it's complex, you know, because the women who the nerds was looking at wasn't checking for, you know.
But they weren't looking at women that were nerds.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The men weren't looking at women that was nerds, and the women weren't looking at men that was nerds.
Mm-mm.
You know, but nerdiness is still encapsulated in more than just those things. Or the because what a women and like I said, I think it does is about how you back, like it's that assertiveness or aggressiveness or lack thereof.
Mm-hmm.
Because a woman from across the street don't know you're a nerd unless you dress like Steve Urkel.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Because most nerdy people have a variety of jobs. Nerd shit comes into play in your off time. You can have any job and be a nerd. You can have any job and come home and watch anime and play video games and be interested in that kind of shit.
So can the popular guy, can the popular jock be a nerd? You know what I'm saying? Like,
based on what you're saying, then yes. Because if it's based off of interest, if there's a guy that's popular that likes anime, that likes to play video games that are not like sports related video games, but like, you know, Call of Duty or Fortnite, then yeah, by that definition.
In this dialogue, it's a whole bunch of jocks and dudes that were traditionally popular coming out saying I was a nerd. You know what I'm saying?
But that's if you're basing
what I'm
it.
saying.
Yeah.
The problem is ain't no definitions.
Yeah.
The jocks is coming out saying, well, I was a nerd, because their definition of it is I did these unpopular things that other people were doing. But they were more assertive, they were more popular, and the women were after them for various reasons. And
they were so again, for me, the assertiveness and the passiveness is what matters when it comes to women. Because if it was just those interests, a jock having those interests would deter a woman. Then, if it was gonna be, I don't want to date nobody that like this kind of music or that watch anime, then they would have been deterred from the jock just as much as they would have the little guy that play chess. But if it's how aggressive you are or the lack thereof, then you can be a jock who does those things, but is aggressive in your pursuit and be the popular guy. That's why I feel like it comes back down to the aggressiveness.
But I wonder how many Steve Urkels it was. Because, you know, Steve Urkel was aggressive as hell.
He was.
For Laura.
But he was only...
down, baby. I'm wearing you down.
He was only aggressive to her, though. Like, with Myrtle...
He didn't want nobody else.
He didn't want nobody else.
Myra Monkhouse wanted him.
Myra, not Myrtle.
She was the nerd that was wanting him. Like, that's that dynamic where the nerd girl is after you, but you only after the girl that's popular. You know, so that's Steve Urkel dynamic. But, like, even if you were an aggressive person that did all of those things, let's say Steve Urkels do exist out there. What in that case would be what kept the popular girl from getting with him? I mean, is he aggressive in the wrong way?
He was annoying. He wasn't smooth because, listen, when Steve was Stefan, Laura was with it. He looked the same. I mean, he dressed different. He was the same fucking person. But she was interested in Stefan, but not Steve. And the difference was Stefan was smooth. Stefan was real smooth.
So now,
and he dressed real
now
cool.
we have isolated it down to not just aggression, but you got to be aggressive and smooth.
Yes.
In order to get that.
Yes.
Which I guess we can agree that nerds, though that group of people who are not popular and are not smooth, this is the category of nerds we talking about. We talking about people that ain't really smooth, maybe socially constricted somehow. Yeah.
Less women are gonna give those guys a chance, because what you gotta understand with women, and I've learned it just even in having our group chats and all of us doing online dating and the differences in our experiences. Being a nerd and approaching or pursuing somebody either in an annoying way or you just really passive, you're competing with all of these other niggas that may also be pursuing this woman
with the Shoguns
exactly
of the world. Y'all need to listen to Government Name Podcast, okay?
Yes, y'all are competing with
some older episodes. You get Bay News, okay? He ain't doing Bay News right now, but I tell him all the time. He got that. You remember the Rick James skit?
Yeah.
Where he was like, Charlie Murphy was like, I just saw that aura.
Yep, it was orange.
Feel like Shogun got that aura. Like,
got an orange aura.
As it pertains to, but I mean, he is a charming dude. He's a charismatic dude. He's smooth. He know what to say.
Yep.
His timing is perfect.
So
he gathers his life in a way that is accommodating to women. Like, there's a lot of components to it.
You're competing with those dudes. So, like, if you're somebody that is not aggressive or that is not going to make yourself stand out in the mind of a woman who may be being pursued by 3 other guys that ain't you, you're going to lose out. Like, you're not going to be, if she ain't just not talking to nobody else and, like, you kind of it, maybe you got a chance. But most of the time, you are competing with other people.
So do you think that a person that is maybe nerdy to that level, who may be a Steve Urkel, or maybe not a Steve Urkel, maybe either one, Steve Urkel that's aggressive or a guy that's just kind of into those nerdy things that is not as aggressive, do you think they can learn to be in a way that a woman would like find acceptable?
The only problem with that is that I feel like assertiveness, I don't know. I feel like you can, if you do something that's outside of your comfort in pursuing somebody, once you get them, because that thing is not actually a part of who you are, that's going to fall off. Right. And so if the thing that she liked about you was your aggressiveness, but you're truly just not an aggressive person, that might be a problem later on. I feel like you can learn how to do it in the beginning, but like, is it going to stick? Because it's not who you are. You're just doing this in the pursuit of this woman. But you're naturally not an aggressive person. So because you're naturally not an aggressive person, once you get with her, when she expected you to handle shit in an aggressive way and you passive about it, that might be a problem. So yeah, I think you can learn how to do it on the front side, but like once you get her and you get comfortable, if that's not who you are, I don't know. You're not going to just stay aggressive if you're a naturally passive person. I just don't think you will.
I mean, I'm not saying change, so to speak. I just feel like most of us need an opportunity to introduce people to our redeeming qualities. Yeah. And you can't see that from across the street. So I just think you need the assertiveness.
You might get friend zoned it though.
That's the risk you take.
Yeah, because
that's the risk you all take.
She might like your redeeming qualities, but you might get put in this
people
slot.
Being afraid of the friend zone limits you from going after somebody that may accept you into more than a friend. Like, you can't be afraid of that shit.
Yeah.
Yes, not every woman gonna like you. Some woman gonna put you in a friend zone. Be done with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, the friend zone, like, I think we talk about the friend zone wrong. You know what I'm saying? And I think we done had a conversation about it.
We have. Dudes look at it as something bad, though. Because if you're wanting to be with somebody...
Well, I mean, dudes would look at it as something bad because we are the ones who've been able to come and take what we want since the dawn of time.
Yes.
And so now, I mean, you still got men who can do that, but like the men who can't and the women who are, independent enough to not give a fuck about what a man want, of course a man gonna look at the friend zone as a bad thing. It's a woman turning his ass down when men ain't did nothing but take shit their whole lifetime.
Yeah.
So yes, a man ain't gonna like that, but I don't think the friend zone just mean you got turned down by a woman. I think the friend zone means that you wanted something with a woman, you got turned down, and you stick around in hopes that that shit might come back around somehow.
Yeah.
But at that point, you're a glutton for your own punishment.
Pretty much.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
so I just being turned down ain't getting into the friend zone. If you turn down, you turn down. You know, fuck her. Go on about your business. Don't say fuck you.
No,
because that's disrespectful.
It is.
And everybody entitled to say no to whatever they want to say no to.
Yeah.
Because if a woman that you don't want to date come say, like, a precious looking woman come over here and say, you know, hey, let's go to dinner, you gonna say no. You know, she shouldn't be entitled to be able to be mad at you. So you ain't entitled to be mad at somebody who say no. You know what I'm saying?
Oh shit.
I mean, I guess there's a specific instance. Like if she say some shit like, I don't date black men.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
that's offensive.
Fuck her.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, still don't tell her fuck you. You know what I'm saying? Because that's disrespectful. But
she just said some disrespectful shit to you.
Well, you don't know what life experience she's
I don't
had
care
about
about.
her
I
kids,
don't care. If a man come up to me telling me you don't date black women, fuck you. I don't care what your life experiences are. Because I'm not even going to get a chance to figure it out and help you because you didn't already kick me out because I'm black, which is stupid because your ass is black.
I ain't petty like that.
I am very.
I feel like a dude that feel like that. If he saw a dude drop a Quaalude in a woman's drink, he'll just keep going. I wouldn't, okay?
Thank God.
I'm gonna knock that drink over. You know,
oh my God.
I could look like an asshole to her while I'm saving her life. I can just go to her drink and bloop, knock it over and just keep walking. I just saved your life, but I'm humble enough not to pull it up. I ain't gotta let you know.
Is that the same? Is that the same for women? Like, are we in competition with 2 or 3 other women at any given time with dudes?
No. No. I don't think so. Not in the same way.
Okay.
You know, you are a man know who he want to be with, even if he messing with other folks. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I don't think that's the case for women. I think women, because of our society, I think women have they pick it a lot. Mm-hmm. And I think that there are those smooth, womanizing men.
Yep.
Yes, you are in a long list of women that ain't none of y'all gonna be what y'all want to be with him. You know, but for the men that are average and who ain't that, I don't think they got a wait list. I think they got a woman who they are trying to court and trying to get with, maybe multiple, you know, but I don't think you really on a wait list. Like, I think women, like, because women have dudes after them all the time. And like I said, like, my hierarchy is a woman got a dude that she's probably having sex with, then she got a dude that she really likes that could be more, you know. Then she got a dude that behind that, you know, because she ain't finna have multiple partners, you know, she just dine out with him and avoid interaction with that person, you know. And she
that's rude as fuck.
She like him, but not as good as the first person. I mean, that's dating. That's what dating is.
But it's so rude to go out with people and spend their money.
I don't think it is.
If you're not interested in them.
Number one, die in a car wreck. Number two, become number one.
That is terrible.
Or,
well, I'm dating wrong.
Let's call the car wreck a girlfriend. He get a girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? Then number two become number one. You know, like
I'm dating wrong then.
Or you find out number one is having sex with somebody else, and you ain't happy with him having that. So number two now become number one. Like, it's so many instances in which number two can become number one. But I think that number two is somebody who's just casual interaction. Number three is somebody that maybe if 1 and 2 didn't exist, she could see something with, but she ain't putting no investment into it because, you know, she don't want to, and maybe she talk with him on the phone and get with him every now and then, but she don't show no visible interest in that person. And then number 4 is just, you know, maybe if she's the type of woman, I would think it ends at 3, but if she's the type of woman that would use somebody, then she got somebody just for some meals. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, I think that's the hierarchy, and I think that, you know, number 1 exists, and number 2 can become number 1 if shit happens
with number 1.
Yeah, and they shift up. You know, number 4 ain't never gonna become nothing. You know what I'm saying? But
poor number 4.
Yeah, number 1, 2, and 3. Like, if you number 4, you constantly gonna be in number 4. It's the only change in the rotation is at number 1.
Damn, that would have been a really good name for this podcast. But that is the name of that movie. I am number 4.
It is.
Damn. If it was another number, I could have used it.
Damn, I like that movie.
Yeah.
Anyway.
They never did any more.
And they set it up for more. And
They set it up for more. They set that up for more, and they set up shit. The other one where the people with power being tracked down, and so they couldn't use their powers. It's got Dakota Fanning in it.
I ain't seen that.
It's just gonna piss you off because it ends in a way where you ready for the rest, and there nothing ever happened with it.
Yeah. But that's about it. Help us define what the hell a nerd is, man. If you goddamn
nerd plate, help us out.
If you got the 2 hours and 4 minutes of this podcast,
Leroy and Rockman,
government name, nerd plate,
let us know.
social introvert, see it be listening.
Oh, hey Sid,
help us understand what a nerd is from your perspective and whatnot. So whatever. You got anything else on your mind?
Name the poetry section too.
Oh yeah, the poetry section. If you got a name for that, then let us know what it'll be.
But that's it.
But that is it. And until we come to the next conversation,
we out.
Holla.